The song requires silence. Okay. I got a small instrument right here.
Welcome to episode 59 of the Hipsters United podcast. My name is Chris, and joining me this week are Jason.
Hello.
Jill.
Hi.
And Andrew.
Hello.
And just a quick note before we get started, if you're listening to this podcast episode directly from the website and want to subscribe through iTunes, our iTunes Music Store entry should be fixed very soon, hopefully by the time you're listening to this. If not, in the blog post for our last episode, I posted instructions for subscribing using the direct URL, but hopefully our multi-month long nightmare of the iTunes Store will be resolved by the time this gets posted. But with that out of the way, this has been a really busy weekend for Smashing Pumpkins fans, with Astral Planes being released on Friday, the new first concert billed as a Smashing Pumpkins show in over a year, some lucky fans getting their Songs for a Sailor EPs over a month early, and the announcement of a couple of surprise vinyl 7-inches. So I guess we'll go in chronological order and start with Astral Planes. On Friday, as hinted by Carrie Brown earlier in the week, Astral Planes was released on Amoeba Records' website. And as we've done with the other songs, let's go around and give our impressions with this one. And I'll start with Jason, I guess, since of the four of us, I would consider you the biggest fan of the heavy Smashing Pumpkins sound. And this is the heaviest song of Teargarden so far. So, Jason, what did you think?
I don't really know. I've only listened to it a couple times. Sorry. Oh, it's fine. It's Astral Planes. I mean, I saw them. I saw Spirits in the Sky playing this song last August, and wasn't my favorite. It's okay. I like the bridge.
The bridge is different, right? They didn't do that live last year.
They didn't?
I don't remember it. I'm asking. I'm not positive.
How does the bridge go, Chris?
The fall away lies.
Yep, they did that. They did that live.
Okay.
Shows what you know. I was there. Tell me what they did.
Dude.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah,
what about the rest of you guys? What about you, Jill?
I think the production is awesome.
In what way?
I think I told someone that if I can ignore the vocals, which I can understand on some level is a mantra or whatever, if I can ignore the vocals, the music is awesome. Like the outro especially, I'm wondering if that's Ichabod. If that's Ichabod, I like Ichabod.
It sounds like a helicopter taking off.
Yes. The production really reminds me of pretty much everything about the early-ish, pre-ish, even into Siamese Dream production that I love. And I think it's been drawing a lot of comparisons to that as well. I think it's a pretty awesome song. So, and to be honest, I think that it grew on me faster than the other tracks have so far. I've had the strongest immediate reaction to it.
See, Chris, so. Jill's the one into the heavy songs.
I am.
Duly noted. I'll keep that in mind when As Rome Burns gets released.
I think, yeah, you don't want to even see my ideal track list.
Super Christ 9 times in a row.
Yes.
That's the control.
Into an encore of United States. Except for that.
Wait, so you mean Super Christ 10 times in a row? Because they're the same.
Burn.
What'd you think of Astral Planes, Andrew?
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of steal Jill's answer in that the lyrics don't really excite me, but the music and the production did. I thought it was the most sonically interesting song they've put out so far. And it's a lot like the old psychedelic days of Gish, and it's kind of neat. They're returning. Billy's Heart is returning that we know pretty well with the way from reading what Carrie Brown tweets a lot, and that's sort of, we might be hearing more of that kind of sound. So that I wouldn't be disappointed to hear more songs like Astral Planes sound maybe a little bit more interesting lyrically would be. But, other than the fact that it was sort of a chanty song, which probably was why it sort of worked well as a live song that no one had ever seen, no one had ever heard before. It was simple in that way. But it's about what I expected. I wasn't really looking forward to it, but I think they captured the what we heard last summer pretty well with the studio version.
Yeah, of the four, I think this is probably my least favorite of the songs. I mean, like,
Whoa.
probably the same as you guys. I like the sound of it. I like the guitar work in it. And I think that I may appreciate it more when the whole album is there and it kind of, like, breaks up some of the other songs. But, I mean, I'm a big lyrics person, and like you guys have said, the lyrics are pretty much nothing. It might as well be an instrumental.
But you know what? I was thinking about it yesterday as I was doing the live blog, and this song, I'm really excited to see how they morph it in the live tour setting, because honestly, its lyrical content, or lack thereof, or whatever you want to call it, really reminds me of Bring the Light, which is one of my favorite Zeitgeist songs. Not on the record, huh?
It is your favorite Zeitgeist.
Live, it is.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite on the record by any means, but it has that same sort of like driving mantra, psychedelic. I don't know. It's simple. You can't really call it anything but simple.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this song might eventually become something like Silverfuck, where they play like the part that we recognize, and then they go off and do something totally different, and then eventually come back to it and play that same theme again.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
You guys have really gotten into this song. I feel like I'm unprepared. You're projecting its future live incarnation. I'm just sitting here going, I heard it a couple times.
Yeah, it's alright.
Guitar sounded kind of weird, like it was a jet engine.
Yes!
Alright. So, Andrew, I'm taking over momentarily. I'm seizing the initiative from our host. Andrew, favorite song on the EP?
I think
This is an easy question.
Yeah, I think I said last time it's Stitch in Time, and I think it's still Stitch in Time.
All right.
Last time it was asked before Astral Planes came out.
Jill?
Astral Planes.
Chris?
Ooh, Song for a Son.
And I'm going to say a Stitch in Time, so we have an actual plurality winner.
I would say a Stitch in Time for me is pretty close. It's definitely between a Song for a Son and a Stitch in Time. I give the nod to Song for a Son, but Stitch in Time is definitely up there.
I just like whatever's latest and greatest because I'm totally a hipster.
Song for a Son is very close for me too. Maybe it's everybody's runner-up, which would make it the I don't know, Condorcet winner or something like that. I forget my positive political theory. If we had scored voting, maybe it would win.
That's right. Instant runoff.
Instant runoff. But it has to get to the runoff, which I guess it does because Chris gives it one vote. So. Jill's
boring,
flashing her wrists over there.
I'm gonna go listen to Astral Planes.
Maybe if a Stitch in Time ended with like gunfire and a helicopter taking off, like
then it
Astral
would be
Planes
done by
did.
MIA.
Everyone. Yes. Is anyone taking an Astral Plane out to LA to see the Pumpkins on the Tonight Show?
No, if I were going out to LA to see them, I definitely would have gone
Burbank.
for Saturday's concert. I would not be going to see them on the Tonight Show.
Not the Tonight Show in Burbank.
It's all the same place, Jill.
Burbank being...
A lot to the people that live in Burbank.
I'm sure they all walk around talking about how they live in Los Angeles once they're out of town. Yeah, I'm from LA.
Well, it sounds like the simple lyrics of Astral Planes have let down a lot of our commenters and us to some extent, me possibly more than others. But Jason posted a quote from an interview Billy did recently with Artist Direct where he said, quote, "Usually when I'm writing lots of songs I can't read, which drives me crazy because I love to read. I find these days I am writing a simpler lyric, which I am okay with, but I would prefer to be writing more like F. Scott Fitzgerald instead." Andrew, do you think the songs that Billy's releasing recently, you can define recently however you wish, but do you think that they're simpler lyrically as a group than songs in the past? I mean, Billy seems to think they are, but to fans, like, is this kind of a growing trend that you see? And is there some sort of dividing line? Can you say, well, after a certain era, his songs got a lot simpler?
Not sure. I think the songs that he played on this Spirits in the Sky, what are out now, with maybe the exception of Astral Planes, which is sort of a outlier, are all relatively simple. There's nothing sort of. I think maybe if you want to go, what's a complicated Billy lyric song? Maybe something from Adore, where it was Annie Dog or Dusty and Pete, where he was telling a story, or Lily from Melancholy, which was kind of a fun little story in a song. But
a fun little story. If you like stalkers.
See, I would consider Lily a simple song lyrically.
Well, it's simple to you.
it's
You've had a lot of practice stalking. Comes easy.
Yeah, I guess that's just my world. I can easily recognize the imagery that he's going for.
Oh yeah, it's the hanging outside the window. Oh, yeah, it happens all the time.
So what is it to write like F. Scott Fitzgerald? Somebody tell me, because I don't read.
A lot of symbols.
Is it?
That's what I take from it. I mean,
rolling towards the green light at the end of Daisy's Dock. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, The Great Gatsby is known for its many, many symbols.
Well, and I think there's also, I think Fitzgerald is known for his. It's not necessarily alliterative writing style, but it's really aural, like A-U-R-A-L.
Right.
A real sort of, I forget what the word is, but the words sound like what they are acting. Yeah, it's like an onomatopoeic. Kind of like Sage Francis, y'all. Sorry.
My favorite white rapper.
Yes.
It's very, very important to mention his skin color.
So, Jill, do you think that the songs are getting simpler?
Lyrically, yeah. I mean, it seems like lyrically they've gone to a different place, but I think it's sort of a natural, or it seems to be a natural transition, because I think the actual songs themselves, like the music of the songs, seems to be not necessarily more complex, but it's coming from a different place. Like, I always think that, I don't know exactly how to explain this. Growing up and listening to angsty Smashing Pumpkins when I was younger, I always thought that the music really emphasized the lyrical content. And I think I read on Hipsters United recently about, I think some commenter made was that Billy has been using his voice more as an instrument than as, a traditional lyrical addition. So it's been more of a percussive addition to the songs, and I might agree with that in some instances. Other instances, he's still trying to belt out a song that has a meaning, like, a song for a son, but I think he has gotten a little bit more experimental with how he uses his voice, especially since he's been jamming with a lot of these hippie types in the last couple of years. So
yeah, I don't think you can really say, well, every newer song is simpler than every older song, but I think there is something to what he's saying. I mean, in my mind, Adore is kind of the high water mark in terms of this vivid, abstract imagery and, like, very deep writing, where it's almost like, I think, was it an old review that said that Billy's songs were kind of like bad poetry with music played over them? And I don't think it...
That's a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
It sounded like the stereotypical bad review of Siamese Dream, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of.
That's Jim DeRogatis' review.
Yeah. And since Adore, I mean, I don't think every song has been less lyrically complex. I think there's been kind of a trend, like you're saying, Jill. It seems like more and more he's using his voice experimentally, or occasionally using it just as an instrument and not really trying to say anything, like he's doing with Astral Planes. I mean, it's pretty obvious that everyone that isn't like an important message he's trying to get across.
I have to jump in. Basically, this would be Jason's theorem, right? All claims about trends in the history of Smashing Pumpkins are wrong. I mean, Gish is the most meaningless album of all. I mean, just what on Gish has meaning? I mean, I think maybe I Am One does, but beyond that, I mean, not really. I just think this is the way he's always been. Occasionally there's something that actually has some quote-unquote content, but other than that, I think it's always like he's singing to sing, and Jill said it probably like 35 podcasts ago that she thinks Billy's lyrics are generally for affect and not for meaning. I think that was dead on. I think it's always been true. I think it's still true. But occasionally he does have a cool idea, you know? I mean, I think of a song like 33 as being a pretty meaningful song, you know? But, you know, 8 times out of 10, I don't think he's saying much. But, you know, he's a musician. And I you know, Chris says he's big on lyrics. I'm not. You know? If I want ideas, I read, and I don't usually read stories or poetry. So, I mean, I don't expect Billy Corgan to have a lot of like interesting philosophical ideas. To be honest, I consider him a musician, a composer, a performer. I don't know, but not really an ideas guy. I mean, I think we've seen, particularly over the last couple of years, when Billy does, I mean, because he's never really gone out in his life and tried to talk about ideas that much in a non-musical format, and I think we've seen over the last 2 years a lot of the things that he says, you know, some things he says are good, and some things are silly and ridiculous, you know, which I think is about what you would expect from someone who's not a professional idea person. But that's not what I'm interested in from him, so it's fine with me.
Well, what would you say, Jason, in response that the very expression of his lyrics now actually is meant to emote something entirely different than, say, Siamese Dream, Melancholy era? In that some of these songs, and like Chris says, there are exceptions. There's still songs like Song for a Son and others that he breaks this mold. But what would you say to the thought that maybe at some point in the past where he was expressing sort of angst or emotion, like sort of an anger against either the industry or against his own personal life experience, now a lot of these songs and their lyrical content seem to shy away from that and anchor more in the meditative, personal, like, I guess I'm trying to say, I guess I'm wondering if these songs are more meditative as opposed to emotive in their lyrical content now.
I'd probably grant that. I mean, you know.
I mean, that's kind of a huge shift.
Well, I think that's kind of just natural maturity type thing.
Yeah.
But I agree. Okay, that you violated Jason's theorem successfully. Congratulations.
No. I think the two theorems can coexist, but I think that in some respect, that may be the crux of why these new songs rub people the wrong way. Is maybe not that, the production is, you know, disagreeable, or there's some other element that's off, but the actual nature of how he delivers the lyrics and what they mean to him is a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked I certainly would have said when Zeitgeist was out that, you know, Zeitgeist was very much an outward-looking themed record in terms of what the feelings he was expressing and stuff, to the extent that he does express feelings and things. And I said that was a new thing. I mean, it's a cliche to say something is a political record. I don't think Zeitgeist is political per se, but it does have like kind of man and society themes, which I don't think are things he'd really talked about much before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. I think, you know, where his mind is definitely different these days. I just don't think that, you know, percentage-wise, in terms of how many songs really say something, quote unquote, I don't think that's changed a lot.
I'm not necessarily saying that that he's trying to say something in his songs any more or less. I just think that the way he wrote his lyrics for Adore, for instance, they were very flowery. They were a lot of like expressive metaphors and things, and it seems like he does less of that lately. And I think that's what he means when he says he writes a simpler lyric. I mean, he just says, that's the way my love is. He doesn't describe a realm of soft delusions floating on the breeze anymore.
Ooh, way to pull that out.
Well, and doesn't this go back to, I mean, if you remember the original press release about this album, and I had to look this up just to validate what I was thinking, quote, "The story of the album is based on the fool's journey as signified in the progress of the tarot. It is my intention to approach this by breaking down the journey of our life here into 4 phases as made by these different characters. The child, the fool, the skeptic, and the mystic." So, I mean, is it is it possible that each one of these EPs are representative also in their lyrical content of one of these phases? I mean, I would imagine that's his intention.
Yeah.
Since he went out there and
I'm sure he's got an outline drawing
a bunch of circles with lines connecting them.
Yeah, exactly. Of the map of the album, of how those 50 songs that are on the board right now are going to get arranged. And
Yeah, but Billy is this is my opinion, that Billy is a good enough artist not to take that seriously beyond the point of screwing things up. Like, my kind of views on art are that if you have a very definite plan and then you stick to it, you suck, basically. You have to kind of just trust.
But look at Machina.
You can set an outline, but then you have to trust the moment. And I think, like, actually slotting songs into EPs with defined meanings is too much of the intellectualized plan. You know what I mean? I mean, I kind of like the way I perceive him to be going about it, which is like, okay, it's about the tarot, and he's setting this kind of mind space, and he does have these kind of broad themes, and just what you said, Jill, I think all that is fine. But, like, when the rubber hits the road and the songs start coming out, you don't over-intellectualizing that and forcing things into boxes and buckets, and that's when you screw up. And I don't feel like he's screwing up. I mean, I think this EP sounds really good. I just listened to the 320 kilobit rips provided by one of our loyal readers, and it sounds like good stuff, and it sounds natural, and I don't think forced. So I don't know. I mean, do you really think, like, okay, if he's done this, like, okay, which part of the journey is the first EP? It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Is this the Fool? The Fool.
Well, we don't even know if it's divided up by EP. It could just be every EP could have each of the four. So Astral Planes could be the Mystic.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know what the other three were, but I mean, I agree with you, Jason. I think that it's more likely that he's doing that now. So I think we could probably, if we really thought about it, we could probably take these four songs and divide them up into the tarot somehow. But in the long run, like Billy said recently, at first I had planned to kind of like let this organically grow, and I wrote all these songs and was going to release them, but now I feel like the pressure is on for me to like release only good songs, so I'm going to have to like write some new songs and make sure they're all good, or something like that. I'm totally paraphrasing, but
yeah,
I think that if he writes a really great song that doesn't really fit into the tarot theme, I have a feeling he's going to end up releasing it anyway.
On a one-sided 7-inch.
Yeah.
You guys know, I'm going to break some news here on the podcast. The 7-inch with Teargarden Theme on it in the EP. The other side of the 7-inch is smooth. There is nothing on it. So I don't know if that makes Teargarden Theme a B-side technically, because if it is a B-side, that means the new single is silent.
It's all part of the plan.
That's right.
It's a John Cage reference there, yes.
And Teargarden Theme is 4 minutes. Maybe there's an extra 26 seconds of silence at the end to reach 4:30. Sorry. Breaking news.
Release 4 minutes of silence.
What if you play it backwards?
It's the 2010 version of Sounds of Silence. As opposed to the 2012 version they were playing on the last tour. The 2010 version is actually silent.
Oh, goodness.
Well, on Saturday afternoon, Billy joined Mike Byrne, Jeff Schroeder, Mark Tulin, and Kerry Brown for the first concert billed as a Smashing Pumpkins show since the end of their 20th anniversary tour in December of 2008. It was Mike Byrne's first official Smashing Pumpkins show. It was the first time the Smashing Pumpkins have performed with a male bass player, I believe. And in what I think was a surprise to some of us, at least, it was Mike's first time playing some old Pumpkins hits like Today, Bullet Butterfly Wings, and Ava Adore. The set was a mix of the old and the new, with all four Songs for a Sailor songs getting played, along with another new song called Baby, played by Billy on ukulele, dedicated to Ginger Pooley's baby Tallulah, as well as another mysterious baby named Tallulah. But
oh, really? In
a big surprise to fans who took Billy at his word when he said no more old songs, there was also a diverse mixture of songs from the band's past. Tristessa, Stumbling, and Soot and Stars were played for the first time since the reformation, and Billy once again pulled out the hits from the past, like I mentioned earlier. So, Jill, none of us got to see the show in person, but you ran the live blog. Your ears were to the ground when the tweets started coming in. What do you think was the biggest surprise or the biggest story for you?
I think
don't say Miley Cyrus.
I think people immediately reacted to seeing Tristessa and Stumbleine on the set list. We truthfully didn't get that many tweets during the course of the live blog, at least about what was being played. We did get quite a few pictures and even a couple of nearly live twit videos coming down the pike. But, I mean, I think people were mostly... It seems like people were impressed with Mike Byrne's performance, and just the inclusion of some of these old songs was surprise enough to warrant exclaim, I suppose. So, and we also have, about 5,000 videos from YouTube in the comments of the post. So you can form your own opinions, even if you weren't there, by shaky videos.
Feel like I was there.
Yes, you sure can.
Almost live.
Chris, it seems like you've paid a lot of attention to this song, the song now known as "Baby," which I don't think is an official title. But
that's what Billy called it. He introduced it as "Baby."
No, I was told he didn't.
He did. In one of the videos, he actually tells the story about he went to Hawaii apparently and wrote some songs using the ukulele. Someone in Hawaii apparently taught him how to play the ukulele. And one of the songs he wrote for Ginger's new baby Tallulah, as well as this other. He said he has another friend in Chicago who also just had a baby named Tallulah, although he was quick to point out that the baby was not his, which got a bit of laughter from the crowd, but he did say that the song was called Baby.
Alright, Baby it is. Not to be confused with Worship.
Or Yeah.
I was actually really surprised that this was the first song that Billy has just called Baby. I could have sworn that there was another one.
I think that's Worship. That's why I was mentioning it.
Or Baby Let's Rock.
Is Worship the one where he just says baby over and over again a number of times? I'll have to pull that up.
Yes, it is. Thou shalt not put Jason's memory to the test. So,
Jill, were you surprised that Billy went back on his word? He promised us there would be no more old songs.
No. I mean, anyone that was surprised, did they not see the video of Billy, dicking around in Carrie Brown's kitchen with the kids?
Yeah, but that could have been a joke.
Yeah.
He still knows the old songs.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's going to play them. I mean, they were, back in Asheville or whatever, they were sound checking EQSA or something, and they were like, "But we're not going to play it."
Yeah, they sound checked Cherry. They sound checked a whole bunch of songs they never ended up playing.
I mean, honestly, when I saw that Brown video of him playing today, if anything, that suggested to me, like, maybe he's not going to play any old songs. It just seemed like sarcastic, like, "Oh, here's what everyone wants to hear. Today is the great." That's the vibe of that video to me.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. He can't give them up.
Oh, he shouldn't. Why?
I say he just succumbed to the fan pressure.
Oh yeah.
He's so weak-willed.
He's so weak-willed, absolutely.
He's reading the comments at Hipsters United going, "Yes, I got to."
They really want to hear Bullet with Butter.
Yeah, everyone wants to hear Bullet. I can't not play it. Hipsters United will be so disappointed if they don't get to hear Rat in a Cage.
I think, I mean, I'm the last person to say this sort of thing, but I think Tristessa was a wise move, because with that double bass kick or whatever the hell it is, I'm sure some genius of jazz is going to correct me in the comments, but Tristessa's got some sort of bass drum thing that's like really hard to do if you're not young and virile, so playing that one without Jimmy was kind of a balls-out move, if I may say. And, it sounded pretty good. And Tristessa's got this sort of, like, mysterious essence of Smashing Pumpkins quality about it as a song. And so I think, at a moment of questions about the band's identity and, first show without Jimmy and all that, I think that is a good place to go early in the set. So kudos, Billy. A good selection there.
Tristessa into Astral Planes. Oh, yeah.
You and your Astral Planes, Jill.
I can't help it that I like AP songs, okay? Just advanced.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that somebody taped this in a high-quality audio-type fashion. I mean, we've got plenty of videos in various states of quality and various states of completeness from many, many different angles. Some of the angles being behind someone else who was also videotaping with a camcorder.
You get the viewfinder view of...
Yeah, or people holding up cell phones to take pictures with their cell phones.
Yeah, I'm sorry we don't have anyone who's actually there on this podcast, so we're all telling you things we saw from the video or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting on Today. Today, if you heard it live in the last couple tours, there are places where Jimmy Chamberlain does like the Titanic rolling snare drum parts that pretty much only Jimmy Chamberlain can do that I know of. And I'll give Mike the half point for not trying to attempt to do those. I mean, I missed them, but at the same time, at least he didn't like attempt to do them and just suck at it. You know, he instead just kind of did a generic, deal. So, does anyone know what I'm talking about? Because Jimmy would do this thing, that is just like, I don't know. It's amazing to hear, but
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I think I know what you're talking about, but
sorry, everyone at home who's horrified by my attempt to create that sound.
I did like the new arrangement of Soot and Stars. I remember I saw the set list after the show had already happened. I was out to dinner, I think, when the show was actually going on, but I saw the set list before I saw the videos and read all the comments, and I just remember thinking, oh god, that song is like so dreary, the song in the version that got released on Judas O. But the arrangement that they did live that was in one of the videos that someone posted was very different. It was definitely recognizable. It wasn't like all the lyrics and everything were in the same place. There wasn't any crazy like intros or anything like that, but just the arrangement of the song I thought was very nice, and presumably, hopefully, that when they do start touring, this one will get toured.
It reminded me very much of how they took a dreary, monotonous song and gave it what I called the Siamese Dream victory lap treatment during the Zeitgeist tour, and I'm talking about Shame.
Yeah.
Which they took this kind of like monotonous, dreary song from Adore and just like gave it the classic Smashing Pumpkins treatment, they basically did the Siamese Dream version of it, and this was the exact same thing to me, the Siamese Dream victory lap version of Soot and Stars.
Yeah, Shame is a good example. Like that, when they sang the Shame, like the chorus part for the last time, it was like almost triumphant, whereas in the studio version, there was not much triumphant about the song at all.
Understatement of the year.
But I'm really hoping, going back to the song Baby, I'm really hoping if nobody did record this show in high quality audio, I hope that Billy does play that again at some point. It just really seems like that's the kind of thing it's a one-shot deal. I mean, Ginger is in attendance. Did I read that Ginger played bass on a song or two?
Yeah, she played on Bullet.
Yeah.
I guess Mark Tulin couldn't handle the rock. Too old, Tulin.
The Rock.
But it seems like that song may be a one-time only thing.
I really liked that one.
I did too.
I feel like a sucker. Billy Corgan's solo ukulele. Oh, that's gonna be good. Of course, I like it. We probably all do.
It sounded like some of those Machine era acoustic demos almost, but better.
And I have to agree with everyone in the comments who said Ava Adore ruled, because it did.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Good job, Mike. I'm sure some people will pipe up to inform us that he was way off meter and not jazzy and blah, blah, blah. I have... there's this other band I really like that is about as anonymous as the Pumpkins are famous. A band called Swearing at Motorists that fellow HU blogger Pins and I discovered years ago in Chicago, and they have no fan base. But
that's not true. He plays to people on the internet.
Yeah, he's got like 100 fans. But it was a two-man band, and this they had an original drummer, and then they had a second drummer who's the only drummer. Well, I guess I saw a show with the original drummer later, but when I saw them, they had the second drummer, and I thought he was really, really good, a really like subtle, guy. And then there was this one tour I saw them, and they had like this really young guy who was just like, you know, bashing all over the place. And I saw them, and I was like, wow, that sucked. You know, and you know, I read people saying similar things about Mike Byrne, that he's this, you know, overamped 20. He's 20 now. I don't know if anyone saw the April Fool's Day press release that he put out about having 2 full decades of life experience now. But you know, I think that's, you know, people are trying to throw this, you know, this idea out there that Mike's just this young, amped up guy. But I mean, from what I can tell, he seems very passionate about music and very serious. And you know, it looked. I mean, from the you know, what can I tell from a YouTube video? I don't know, not too much. But it looked to me like, you know, he was impassioned and, you know, fired up, and but not out of control. And the show looked like it kind of rocked. So it's different, but you know, it felt like I was listening to the Smashing Pumpkins to me. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm trying to say I did not get the same negative feeling that I had when I watched Swearing at Motorists play with some kid substituting on drums. I had a better feeling, a good feeling. So, I don't know if anyone else relate to what I'm talking about at all. I'm just going on.
He has really, really big shoes to fill, too. I mean, it's just the bravery involved in stepping into a position like that is impressive for someone so young. And
yeah.
I think that it's, I mean, he will be proving himself. I mean, that comes with the territory, is that he's going to be constantly proving himself for probably the first couple of years that he plays with this band.
Yeah, he didn't seem to be shrinking from it, though. You know? I mean, Tristessa, he just went out, like, did it, you know? And he seemed really into the moment and not stiff or anything. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the real test is going to be when they actually embark on a tour. Like, even when Jimmy was there, the band definitely got better as the tours went along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this showed, I mean, it seemed really loose to me. So I expect them to get better, yeah. I'm sorry, cutting you off.
No, that's exactly right.
I mean, I was watching and thinking, yeah, I mean, you can definitely see they're not entirely on the same page and everything, but you're completely
They've been
right.
on a 16-month hiatus.
Pumpkins were always like that. The start of the tour was always a little iffy, and it would just get better.
I mean, this is the first time Jeff has played with them all since... It's the first time he's played with Billy, at least, since December of 2008, and he was great, as usual.
From what I saw, Billy seemed like in a good frame of mind, like serious, there to rock, but not like, I don't know. He just seemed good, seemed balanced, didn't seem too pissy or anything.
Yeah, it was almost like, remember when they did the show that for the Best Buy executives or whatever?
Yeah.
We were all saying how it's like Billy's way to F you to the executives, and he pulls out these like really hard rocking songs. It almost seemed like for this event it was like, you know, Billy really, like he really cares about the cause, about the record store day, so he really wanted to put his best foot forward.
He stayed and signed autographs after the show for a really long time, too, from the looks of it. I mean, I was seeing people, you know, tweet photos for probably an hour and a half at least after the show. So, I mean, there might be some delay in that, but I think that is sort of uncharacteristic with recent times.
Well, it's interesting because the show was uncharacteristically early. I mean, it started at 4 o'clock local time. Yeah. And I think, I don't know, you were the live blogger, Jill, but I think it started pretty close to on time, didn't it?
Yeah, it started really on time, actually.
I mean, this is definitely probably the closest thing I can ever think of to the Smashing Pumpkins playing, like, the Taste of Randolph Street or something.
Yeah.
Having an hour-long set in the middle of the afternoon, totally uncharacteristic, and, you know, it does kind of, I mean, you know, it's a special event and everything, so it's not really like, you know, I'm just waiting for Jim DeRogatis to come along and say, it's sad, they're like playing a state fair, it's sad, this reunion is sad. You know, like, you once toured arenas and now you're playing at Urban Outfitters for 250 people, it's sad, it's very sad. I don't know. So I don't know what the vibe was, I wasn't there, that's something you can't really get from the video.
Yeah.
Trying to grasp onto your glories of the past, but they're gone now.
I thought it sounded like a really fun time.
Yeah.
Fun to me.
Yeah. And did you guys see that, sorry, this is a totally random diversion, well, a few of them. besides the fact that Miley Cyrus was maybe there, maybe just coincidentally in the Urban Outfitters next door, because Hollywood is really that full of celebrities, and the Hurt Locker guy, who knows what his name is, or which one it was also there. But did you see that the guy who founded Buddyhead, the old like hipster music zine that predates Pitchfork, stumbled into the show on accident?
Yeah, that guy who tries to get into internet fights with everybody.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was doing some searches on Twitter as I was doing the live blog, and I saw this person tweeted that she had stumbled in. She had gotten, tickets to the show or some sort of passes last minute at the very, towards the end of the show with Tim or whatever his name is from Buddyhead. And so he tweeted about it afterwards and, made some kind of snarky comments, but overall positive. It made me giggle a lot. I remember reading about Buddyhead when I was in college. Back in the days before Pitchfork. So, anyway, I digress.
This is why Billy likes and plays LA so much lately. You never know who's going to show up.
Yeah, I guess not.
Anyone who's anyone may be there.
If you're reading this podcast, listening to this podcast, tweet. Ask if Miley Cyrus really likes the Smashing Pumpkins. I want to know. I want TMZ to go and ask her. I want this to become a...
Didn't she? I'm almost sure we retweeted her once because she was listening to 1979 or something. Didn't that happen?
I think it's a possibility. We might have to check out the blogs the gossip blogs this week.
Chris introduces the next segment. I'll check that.
All right. Actually, I was going to ask you a question, though, because in the next segment I was going to talk about how those who pre-ordered the Songs for a Sailor EP and attended the show got their EPs over a month early, which is a bit of a surprise for them. And it turns out that the vinyl B-side that we'd been wondering about, the new song that was advertised, is called Teargarden Theme, but as of recording, I have not heard it yet, but I know, Jason, you have heard it, is that right?
I have heard it. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Okay, first on August 22nd, 2009, Miley tweeted, "Listening to 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins. Simply brilliant."
Nice.
Okay,
maybe she knows Elijah.
Teargarden Theme is 4 minutes long. It's an instrumental. It's got some acoustic guitar. I think it's guitar. I don't know. It's muted. It's quiet. There seemed to be some organ and some stuff going on. It's probably about what you think it is.
And does it come after Widow Wake My Mind? Is that right?
I don't understand the question. No. Is the only thing that's on the vinyl.
Really?
Yes. And it's only on one side. The one side of the vinyl just has Teargarden Theme. The other side is smooth. I hope that clears up the mystery.
Yeah, I listened to the first 30 seconds. And of the MP3 that got published to the internet, and sort of reminded me of Infinite Sadness, which is probably because it's the only other organ-y song that the Smashing Pumpkins have ever, instrumental organ-y song. So
it's the other vinyl instrumental.
There's so many parallels. Why did it come to mind, Andrew?
Well, it also turns out that 2 other pieces of vinyl have been pressed. One with Widow Wake My Mind and A Song for a Son is available for order on the website of Vintage Vinyl in Evanston, Illinois. Although it remains to be seen how many of those orders they'll actually be filling, since it was also available for in-store customers. And the other one has the other 2 songs, Astral Planes and A Stitch in Time, and that was available for purchase at Amoeba before the show yesterday. So are any of you guys vinyl collectors? Did you try and pick up either of these pieces of vinyl? I actually put an order in on Vintage Vinyl's website, but I don't know. I'm not too confident I'll be getting anything out of it.
It was too easy.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're just harvesting credit card numbers.
Must be it.
I'll start getting emails now about every piece of vinyl that gets released. They'll think I'm a collector.
Awesome.
Heard about it at about 6:30 at night, and I figured I was already too late behind the wave of demand. So
really, Smashing Pumpkins are still that popular. 257 inches. Those are going to be gone in a second. I think times insane. I think it's pretty easy to get stuff now.
Yeah.
Which, hey, good for us. I'm all about buying cheap tickets in the front row. Doesn't really matter what's behind me or not.
Which has happened lots now.
Well, Well, the end of this this Smashing Pumpkins weekend, I guess, will take place on Tuesday the 20th, which may be in the past by the time you hear this, but the band will be performing Widow Wake My Mind on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And I don't know, a lot of our commenters seem to think this wasn't the best choice. Jason, are you happy with the choice to play Widow, or would you have gone with one of the other songs?
Oh, I'm fine with it. I think it's clearly the most accessible song for a mainstream audience. So, totally cool with it.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the song choice or the show host choice?
No, the song choice.
Come on.
Are you going to be boycotting the performance?
No.
Chris, you saw that the news post I made about this. I wrote, "Bane of hipsterdom, Jay Leno will welcome his colleague Billy Corgan to
Yeah.
They're together as banes of hipsterdom."
Yeah, as far as the song choice, I mean, A Song for a Son is too long. I doubt that Jay would let Billy have the 4.5 to 5 minutes needed to play A Song for a Son. Astral Planes, I've already talked about it. I didn't really like the song that much, so I obviously wouldn't have picked that one personally. And, I mean, I think A Stitch in Time is a good song, but Billy played it solo acoustic on Saturday, and I don't know if it really highlights the skills of the full band. So I think Billy has the most faith in Widow as a single out of these four, and in this case, I also think I agree with them. It does seem to be the most accessible for a mainstream audience trying to get people intrigued who otherwise aren't following what's going on. It does seem like a sing-along with a good hook is the way to go.
That's right. The running time on the EP is 5 minutes, though there is a very, 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 very logical TV/radio edit moment, which comes just after the 3-minute mark. So I'm kind of assuming that the version we're going to see on the show is probably going to end there. But you know.
Well, wasn't the EP advertised as having instrumental intros or something like that? I think that's what that is, isn't it? There's another little instrumental piece that wasn't on the version of the song that got released when Billy released it as a single a few months ago.
Yeah, I heard it. There's like 30 seconds of something at the end, and that's it. At the end of Widow, I think all the other songs are the same. So.
Yeah.
Can we make a bet this week with some fictional $50?
Show already happened, Jill. Actually, that's funny. I was going to mention that. I was IMing Jason before the show and asked him for his fictional wager, since we were still operating under Billy's No More Old Songs assertment.
And I was wrong, but I think with Soot and Stars, I kind of maybe get like a 5th point credit or something. Because what did I say? Pox and Ma Bell. Because those were the Zeitgeist era songs that never got played live. And instead he pulled out Soot and Stars, which is also a fairly recent song that never got played live. So
yeah,
that's like 0.2 points, I think. If I wagered $100, I might get $20 back just for that.
But anyway, Jill, what did you want to wager on?
I want to wager my fictional $50 that I will get a harried phone call on Tuesday night. Jill! The Smashing Pumpkins are on Jay Leno!
From your mother?
From my parents, yeah.
Parents are Leno fans?
They both like Leno, yeah. I'm pretty sure that it will happen.
Will Billy be on after jaywalking? Or headlines?
Headlines,
Are they actually going to talk to Billy? And
yeah, last time he was on Leno, didn't Leno talk to him for a little bit?
Just like after the performance. Why are you breaking up the band? No, that was Billy's story. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I thought it was so funny. I always remember this story. That they played Leno in November of 2000, right before they broke up. It was the last time they were on network TV, and they played Cash Car Star.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, Billy told this story about backstage before the show. Jay comes up to him, and Billy actually did an imitation of Jay's voice. He was like, "Why are you breaking up the band?" And now I forget the story, actually. What did Billy say? He said, we're not really breaking up forever. It's just until the reunion. And of course, at the time, Billy was joking.
Yeah.
But, of course, it actually has happened. Well, it's kind of happened. Reformation. A revival. Smashing Pumpkins revisited.
Well, thanks for joining us after this exciting weekend of Pumpkins music. Our closing song is Baby, featuring Billy on ukulele from the Record Store Day show on April 17th, 2010. Still hoping some high-quality audio of this show surfaces at some point. If you happen to record it, leave some comments and let us know so we can all stop worrying and step off the ledge. Good night, everybody.
So this song's dedicated to both the babies. It's called Baby.
Of lavender and blue, your package waits in the rain. Hey butterfly, how you pry my eye, but there were 2 round slices. I'm out there, so you won't pass me by. I'm out there, so follow this watch as it winds back to you, baby. A faded love ain't for me, a jaded love won't catch me, 'cause I'm the one for you, baby. Trumpets blow, so sweet and low, they moan, get your kicks while you still can. For Sunday's best, when put to bed, happy, may your spirit earn its wings. One fine day, I'm out there, so follow this watch as it winds back to you, baby. A faded love ain't for me, a jaded love won't catch me when I'm the one for you, baby. So follow this watch as it winds back to you, baby. I'm out there, so follow this watch as it winds back to you, baby.
The Hipsters United podcast is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Smashing Pumpkins, Virgin Records, or Warner Brothers Reprise Records. All opinions offered by panelists or guests of the Hipsters United podcast are their own and do not represent the opinions of the Smashing Pumpkins. All audio during the show is licensed for non-profit use per the terms and conditions on the Live Music Archive at archive.org. Intro music is from the Machina 2 album released for free download on the internet by the Smashing Pumpkins in September of 2000.